Hi there. This is Dr. John Whitcomb talking about how plasmalogens start cancer. Okay, you now know that plasmalogens make up 70% of the axons of your brain and nerve cells everywhere, but they're also in your cellular membranes all over your body, particularly your mitochondria. Now, we've known for years that cholesterol actually predicts cancer. Did you know that? Did you know that super high levels of HDLs, particularly in men, predict cancer? And the strongest association seems to happen when they also have quite low LDLs. Well, in current parlance, we'd be excited about that and say, oh, you have no risk of heart disease, you look peachy. That's not peachy to have a super high HDL, because it means there's something going on inside you that's wicked. Well, here's the sequence so that you can understand what happens. When you have lost plasmalogens because you've oxidized things and used them up, your mitochondrial membrane makes a shift of cholesterol in the membrane. In fact, mitochondria have to have more cholesterol in the membrane, making them more rigid. And if you look at cancer patients, they have 3 times the amount of cholesterol in their membrane, and they've lost plasmalogens. That cholesterol allows that cell to import huge amounts of glucose. Now that's really interesting, because we know that really the mitochondria of cancer cells are broken. It's a metabolic disease, and they have to learn how to import a whole lot of glucose. Well, actually that's only 20% of the energy. What else is going on? Well, as cancers move forward, their mitochondrial membranes shift their citric acid cycle, and they start excreting citrate, such that 70 to 80% of the calories that the cancer can use actually come from what are called polyamines going through an arginine cycle. It's a little complicated. You might want to geek out by looking at it, but you can Google it and look up the full details of it. But that's how cancer gets fed. The first step is low plasmalogens. The second step is more cholesterol in the membranes, which you'll actually see in your blood. And from epidemiological studies, is actually a screening study. If you pay attention. High HDLs, low LDLs is a problem. That's something to screen cancer for. And then you don't see it. What you don't see is you don't see then the import of glucose and the export of citrate out of the mitochondria. But that's what's going on in cancer cells before you had the symptoms of the cancer. So if we kept normal plasmalogen, do you know that if you take population studies and people have normal plasmalogens, none of them ever get cancer? You mean if I maintain my plasmalogens, I may not get cancer? Well, there's a strong epidemiology. There are multiple studies that show folks who get cancers have half the amount of plasmalogens in their blood years before they get cancer. And in an animal model, we can give you one example. Rats can be made to have liver cancer. Give them a poison, 6 weeks later they'll have liver cancer. But 6 weeks later they get the cancer. One day after getting the poison, their cells have super low plasmalogen levels. Now, if you give them plasmalogens back, they don't get the cancer, even after they've been poisoned. Replace the plasmalogen so the poison comes back, they don't get the cancer. Does that happen to us humans? Now, plasmalogens are just food. They're in every membrane in your body. You can now take them as a supplement. Do you think this might be something we should be talking about and doing more research on? I think so. Certainly something I'm going to be doing. What will work for me? I've measured my plasmalogens. I'm in that considered prodrome state where I'm just a little bit low. It turned out I was quite low in choline. I don't make a lot of, for whatever reason, I don't make a lot of choline, and my homocysteine was all out of whack. A little bit of a sophisticated read, but I'm now taking something called Prodrome Neuro, which comes from the company called Prodrome that Diane Goodnow founded, the unique American genius who figured this out. Actually, sorry, Canadian. This is Dr. John Whitcomb with News and Nutrition. How plasmalogens cause and may prevent cancer.